And we are back. Welcome. We are here for Ironheart review. Man, it's been a while. Thankfully, we got this content to come on out and spend some time with everybody one more time. Also, so you know the crew. Jen is back. We got Doc up here back with his action shirt on as well.
I love it.
It's been a while, guys. Last time we were here, we were going through Andor and had quite the up and down there too. The up and down roller coaster ride of that show.
Me my son.
But no, that show again, different show. Go back and watch the review. We had a blast on that one. But we got now Marvel's back, and Marvel's back with a quick 3-episode drop for the first week, and apparently another 3-episode drop for the next week, completely finishing up Ironheart, which is wild. So before we get into the review of that, what are y'all thoughts on that? Only getting 2 weeks of a 6-week show.
I think that's wild. But I mean, I can't be mad at them. I mean, because we would binge it either way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh heck yes, absolutely.
So
I get it, but it does feel like they're
rushing,
fully committed to be like, hey, we're done with this phase. We got to get out.
Yeah, they're rushing.
Like,
it's hard because I know I talk about this both with you guys and then in more context of Star Wars. This conversation has always come up. What's the right amount of episodes to get a definitive beginning, middle, and end? Like for instance with Andor, even though this is a Marvel show, that structure works for that show and that storytelling. I feel if you didn't have that much, it would not serve the storyline well. But then I've seen other shows that are shorter where I'm like, this amount works. So I think we have to come to a point sometimes, depending on the story, where we can't just have like, it must be this many episodes or it just fails and burns and crashes to the ground. No. As long as it has a definitive beginning, middle, and end, all the pieces come together and that it works and it makes sense, then if it's 6, great. If it's a little bit more, great. But at the same time, I was really surprised it was only 6 episodes, especially coming after, Daredevil. I thought they would go a little bit more of that route for the storytelling and for the setup and for, in my opinion, setting up for Young Avengers and how they're doing that, going from the Agatha show then to Daredevil Born Again with in the way they're introducing certain characters. So yeah, I was surprised, but then let's just see what happens. It may work for this story.
Yeah, my initial thoughts about it was like, man, we got to get out of this. They're doing this to rush through the next phase. But after that was the initial thought. But after watching the first episodes, and we'll go through the first 3, I'm really disappointed that we only get 6.
So you wanted more?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I sat there the first few minutes and I was like, okay, let me see what we're doing. And I saw what we were doing, gave her Wakanda wrap up.
I was so excited when I saw Shuri. I was like, oh my gosh.
Gave that wrap up, and we were back in Chicago. Well, we back at MIT first, and then I saw the suit. That's where it was for me. Because Doc, I think we talked about it. I didn't like the way the suit looked in
the movie
because it didn't look finished yet. Not that the suit looked finished, the CGI didn't look finished, and it came off a little funky. But this one, with her walking around in it, getting the parts and pieces and flying in it, I was like, okay, let's see where we're going with this.
It looked good.
Yeah. So I'll so what we'll do. We'll go through a quick synopsis of episode 1, 2, and 3. We'll go one by one, and then we'll get our thoughts on it, and then we'll round it out at the end, just our overall thoughts on this very first part of Ironheart. Which again, I never thought we'd get an Ironheart or Riri Williams anywhere, even in Wakanda. When she showed them Wakanda Forever, I was like, for real, we doing this now? Like I never thought she'd show up because she still is relatively new.
Well, I was happy about Wakanda Forever, but I was concerned that we were still not going to get this show, period.
Yeah.
Because it was touch and go there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where we pick up. So the series
Hey.
being expelled from MIT, where she was hustling homework to fund upgrades to her Ironheart suit. This looked amazing.
Yeah, it did.
Yes.
This
It
took me back. So what does she do? She steals the parts of the suits that she built, and she tries to leave to go home to Chicago with them. And she's also dealing with those recent deaths of her best friend Natalie and her stepfather Gary, who were killed in a drive-by shooting that we sort of learn as we go through it. But desperate for money because, I mean, the whole thing crashed. The little pencil guy reminded me of the little paperclip from the
I have that in my notes too. Trevor reminded me of Clippy. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Clippy.
So we see her, like he shuts off the entire suit, and now it's up to her to sort of rebuild this entire suit. So as we move on, desperate for money, she continues her suit developments. Riri inadvertently gets tangled with a few charismatic villains along the way as well. John Robbins, along with Parker Robbins, known as the Hood, played by Anthony Ramos. Parker led a crew of tech-savvy thieves, and he recruits Riri for her engineering skills and implicitly her armor suit. They saw her flying. They were like, all right, we need to find out who that is because we can use that. A significant development in this episode was Riri's creation of an AI assistant for her suit. This AI accidentally takes on the personality and voice of her deceased friend, Natalie, leading to a complex and emotionally charged dynamic throughout the season or throughout this episode. This episode also establishes Riri's drive for technological advancement, often at the expense of ethical considerations, and hints at a larger criminal underworld she now has entered. So, go back to that right quick. Jen, start with you. Mm-hmm. Fresh off Wakanda Forever with Riri. And I think I saw this coming a little bit with the AI when she hooked it up to her brain. I was like, oh crap. But overall, what's your initial thoughts? What was your initial reaction to episode 1 of Ironheart?
I thought it was very good. I got hooked in right away. The story was very interesting. And seeing more of her. I don't know the comics for this one, so I'm just really going for the ride. There are some details that I do know, but not the full enchilada. Because what surprised me that I didn't see coming, and this is where I say, oh wow, I'm still gullible in so many ways, is Natalie becoming the AI, because I thought in the comic books, Tony is the AI for her.
Well, there are versions where his consciousness is the AI for it, but there have been other little variations where we did get a Natalie as well too. So yeah, they pick and choose, and I think they picked correctly in this.
Because when you do think about the whole thing, it does make sense, because she's not over the trauma of her stepdad and Natalie. It's very much on her mind, and how that unresolved trauma in some ways has fueled her bad behavior that gets out of MIT. So there are links to it. So when she's working on this, I can see how Natalie's thoughts end up being the AI.
Yeah, and I think that was a clever, and Doc, get your thoughts on it too. With your best friend being the AI, your deceased best friend being the AI, and seeing how she has a bit of the same personality because of the memories that you have.
And memories.
How wild is that? Because
what was your reaction? Let's start with how wild is Riri to figure out how to even use that tech. Let's start with that. And then to take her brainwaves and her consciousness and insert that into that of her AI, which came out to be her best friend. I thought that was just super cool within itself. And then I like how her AI is not just an AI. Like, how we use ChatGPT. Like, her AI is like her real best friend. Like, she put emotions into her AI. You know what I'm saying?
The cadence, how she speaks. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the connection. And even when she calmed her down when she was losing her stuff, and I'm sure we'll get there, but she acts like a friend. You know what I'm saying? I think that's cool because most people are trying to get that from AI now. You know what I'm saying? That's why they keep going and pushing and pushing and pushing.
Mm-hmm.
So also friend of the show too. You'll get the next. I'll send the invite for next week. We'll wrap the entire series up next week. So you can be here for that. But he also has a question, and we'll get into a little later too, because we talk a little bit more about the hood. How much or Natalie is tech or magic? Because Joe said that should have killed her. Should have the brainwaves and everything should have killed Riri. Because she was obviously smart or dumb, however you want to look at it, to attempt that.
Well, if she figured it out, just like Tony Stark figured out space travel and did a space heist.
So smooth, didn't he? He's like, I did.
That's what I'm saying. So if she figured it out,
making his new heart in a cave.
You know what I'm saying? Like that should have killed him. I mean, anything can be tech or magic. Now, if he's want to know how close are we to having this tech right now, man, we probably 10, maybe even 20 years away from having this tech.
But I think this is one of those times, and it would have been great to have Will on because he knows the sort of like the mystical side of Marvel. So we'll pick his brain next week if he's free. But this is one of the rare times we've entered that sort of magic phase of Marvel again. Obviously, we do it with Doctor Strange every time. But I think the next 2 episodes when we talk about it, we'll fully get into that whole magic part of it. But if I'm thinking about, and I'll throw it right back to you, with my at least initial reactions to this, I was pleasantly surprised from episode 1. Man, I was like, okay, I remember liking her a lot in Wakanda Forever, and then I'm like, okay, now she's on her own doing her own thing. And we know she was a hustler from Wakanda Forever too.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I was surprised, man, because I know that they're trying to push this stuff out real quick just to get it out and move to the next phase. But this first episode, and I'll give a full review after of all 3, felt like a really, really tight episode. There may be some downs there or show, but for me, this was an enjoyable. Jen.
I just want to go back to real quick what Doc said something about Natalie. I thought I wanted to add on to when talking about how Natalie became the AI and the cadence and everything. But there was a moment with her where she was even surprised because she looked at her like, how do you know that? How do you have that memory? So to kind of go back to a question that was just asked, I think for this character, is she really smart or really dumb? I just think it shows how intelligent she is, but then also how the power of emotions are when you have a strong connection to someone that you really care about and how it can influence things.
Because she made her, like, we saw throwback clips of her, right? Like the memories of her.
Yep.
She acts exactly the same way. Not like an AI, not anything other than.
She acts like her friend. And
exactly.
Brilliant.
She even glitches when she sees the gun and says, I don't know, I froze.
Yep. She acts like a human.
She has that trauma.
So even with that episode, I know we're setting everything up for this one, right? We're getting to the point where, okay, she's been expelled. She's on her own, no money. How does she get this money? Then there's always someone with money, right? There's always a money person. And Anthony Ramos says,
Anthony Ramos, boy, that boy's popular. That guy's popular.
He just pops up in a lot of stuff.
Yes, he does. I wasn't even expecting him on. Have you seen She's Gotta Have It?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah,
bro.
I was not expecting. I remember seeing him, and then he was in Transformers.
He was in Hamilton. I didn't know that. Yeah, and he was in Transformers.
He's in Hamilton, and I think he's in the other film that Lin-Manuel did in New York. What is that one called?
I mean, it just pops up anywhere, man. He's just, I'm here.
I think he's in that one too.
And
need a good actor. I'm here.
Yeah, he doing his thing.
Twisters.
He's in Twisters as well. Bro, yeah, he's in there.
He was in Twisters. Dude, he doing his thing, bro.
But it just shows what a gifting he has for the craft because he can play so many different characters.
Yeah, and now we know him as the Hood.
The Hood.
And again, it's hard from like a DC fan to be like not think of Green Arrow because the first few times that's what they first seasons that's what he was called.
The Hood.
But this is that mystical side of Marvel that we're getting into that I am not that well versed in. I did enough research to like find out his backstory and stuff for this show, just so I can get an idea of like, hey, what kind of character are we dealing with? And so far it stayed pretty true to that character.
And Natalie don't like him either, and she's an AI.
Well, there's something about it, right? There's something about him that she feels off about, and we'll get to one part in particular in the next episode. But overall thoughts on this episode, any other thing that we left out that we want to cover, because this was like just setting the table for the rest.
We ain't gonna talk about them Omega Beam bullets he was shooting, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that looks so cool.
Wait, what part?
The bullets that he shoot. He can move the bullets with his mind.
That's next. That's next.
Okay, but I was talking about. We were talking about the magic. I was like, dog. You know why we have to talk about the magic now? Because after Tony Stark did what they did when Thanos came back and all that stuff, you know, and the wizards and everybody came back, it's magic everywhere. So I don't mind Marvel leaning into the magic versus the whole tech thing. Going back to Will's question, I don't mind it. I'm thinking it's kind of cool.
No, I mean, and it's part of Marvel too, right? Like it's part of the overarching story. It's your Midnight Suns, you know, it's that sort of stuff.
And look at Kamala. They mentioned a mutant gene that she has. So
it's the first time they've ever said mutant gene in the MCU.
And all of us freaked out about that. It's like, wait, we're going there? You said the phrase. So I don't know a lot about this character. I have homework to do myself, but he could be a mutant or have the gene of a mutant. He could.
Well, there's a few. Go ahead, Jen.
Real quick. Can we talk about Landon? I love Landon.
Little homie. He looks so grown in this picture.
I love this kid. I love him so much. I'm like, he knows. He's ahead of his time. I love Landon. Every time he shows up, I'm just happy.
Yeah, my man's hustling on the corner, man. He's selling.
The way he hustles her.
I thought he should be in school. Like, I know Riri out of school because she got kicked out, but shouldn't he be in school?
I was gonna say, maybe
he hustles her. Like, he's like, he'll come and help her out. It's like $20. She's like, what? What do you think this is?
My man blamed the economy on more than one occasion.
Smooth. Blame inflation.
Yeah.
So cute.
But no, I think this first episode was a really good sort of set the table for it, because it was like, what's that? Setup. Yeah, like what's that hook going to be? And they did a really good job of setting this up.
Well, and then also, sorry to overstep, but then also how people think of her about her accomplishments and where she was and Tony
going back to neighborhood,
Wakanda, and then you had Mama's friend saging her when she came in with the sage. Oh my goodness, so many little details like that I just found very delightful.
Who's that? Cree Summers, wasn't it?
Cree Summers, yeah.
Cree Summers, yeah. Love her.
I was like, she got the sage.
Absolutely love her. She's so great. Oh my goodness. But again, first episode really did a really good job of setting the table. I do like practical effects in it, and just seeing her in this whole suit here, or half of a suit, is really dope to see. And on the fact that once she does suit up, all this sort of stays the same. You know what I mean? Like it blends together well. They knew they only had one Iron Man suit to do for this one. That's the only CGI they had for this movie. I mean, for this show. And they've thrown that into it. Like, hey, let's make this look better than it did in Wakanda Forever. And I absolutely love that they did that. But if we move on to episode 2, it's quite like this shot, like that. That looks like that came out of Tony's lab. Looks so good.
But the addition she added to that thing, bro.
Oh,
So we have episode 2 with the real Natalie. Please stand up. This was after.
Yeah.
She made her an AI. Like this is, it's kind of trippy if you think about it. Like your best friend is your AI, and she has all the memories that you have of her. Wild. So as Riri continues to work with Parker's crew, she finds herself in increasingly dangerous situations. Her attempts to fund her suit development through illicit means led her to a suburban tech ethicist and black market dealer named Joe McGillicuddy. And Joe provides Riri with parts for her suit, and their interactions hint at a sort of complex relationship throughout this season, with Riri initially blackmailing him for assistance. The AI Natalie, man, wild, also begins to exhibit more of Natalie's memories and personality, raising questions about the nature of his consciousness and Riri's grief. The episode deepens the mystery surrounding the Hood's powers, which appear to be magically derived, and there's some hints of some darker forces throughout this too, with some things on the posters if you go back and look back at an episode. So episode 2, we get more Riri, we get more well, no, let's not do Riri. Joe McGillicuddy. Thoughts on Han Solo's pivot to Joe McGillicuddy?
I was so excited. I was like, what up, Han? It's so good to see you. You know, I really enjoyed to, like, when we were talking about Anthony Ramos a little bit ago, I really enjoy when actors play such different characters from other characters, because it gives the opportunity to show how crafty they are in their craft. So for me, seeing him in this, both Anthony and Han in this show playing completely different characters from other characters I've seen, it's so cool. I really like so far the Joe McGillicuddy character. He's very interesting, and I want to see how that character evolves.
Okay, so full disclosure, viewing, Jen hasn't seen episode 3. We're going
I
to
have
talk
not
about episode 3. So Doc, hold off on until we get to episode 3, okay? On the Joe McGillicuddy deal. But
yeah, I have to be fully accountable to everyone. I did not realize there was a 3-episode drop, so I panicked, but I got 2 in. I got 2 in for everybody. Next week I'll be all caught up.
So Doc, with this one, we also see, we talk about the magic of the Hood, right? They do one more heist.
Yeah.
Riri sort of accepts Natalie as her AI for this mission as well. But there's a shaky cop, and this man just, what's that movie? Wanted? Was that the name of that movie?
With Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, curving bullets. And this man essentially curved a bullet around Riri and hit the security guard.
And the way they did that slow-mo, that was really cool.
Yeah, I said, man, they look like,
go ahead, take it away.
They look like Omega beams, but I thought just the design of them, the way they did it, it was beautiful to me. I was like, ooh, and this boy's cold, and he don't care. When Riri was like, what if he died? So we gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's so cold-hearted.
It was just a flesh wound, man. That's all it was.
But he could die, which in turn, when we get to episode 3,
you
feel me?
Pause there.
Yeah. So, but I enjoyed this episode because when your man's appeared in old girl car, business was about to pick up. You feel me?
Which again is part of that magic element that we haven't seen. That we only see like certain things in Marvel, right?
Yeah.
My man was just boom. I'm there. I'm in. Yep. I'm in here. I'm signed the contract. Give me the money that I said. Put us on the payroll. Them boys got benefits, man.
And stock option benefits. I was like, what kind of criminal is he going to ask for benefits? He gets
the whole template. He's like 6 figures, full coverage, just like
for all of me and my associates. We'll holler.
And that one character, we'll see you at the holiday party.
Yeah,
for sure. So let's dive into his. We didn't do it in the first episode. His crew. We start out with. Oh my goodness, what's his name? It's not in my notes. Stewart. Yeah, as Rampage. Call him Rampage. So we what do we think about this crew? Because this is a ragtag bunch that all have a purpose that I think is good.
Extreme skills in whatever he paying them for.
Those girls are like the Bash. What was like the Bash Bros? So what was it from Mighty Ducks? The Bash Brothers?
Yeah.
Or something like that. What they called that? That's
who going around beating people.
Yes. You know, the crew is very interesting because the fact that we actually got a full monologue introduction of each character and what their skill set is. You just don't do that without a purpose, in my opinion, in terms of the writing. So I'm curious to see, and yes, I know I haven't seen 3 yet, but I'm curious to see how that is going to continue to evolve and how these characters are going to get affected. You know, is Hood going to take them all out because they know too much? Are some going to go with Ironheart? Are some going to stay because they're loyal? You know, it's very interesting dynamic.
Doc, your thoughts on the crew?
I love the crew. I mean, it's like any classic crew you need when you're doing criminal, enterprise and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You need a hacker. You need somebody that like to blow stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
You need the muscle.
You need the muscle. And you most definitely need somebody that's willing to take somebody out the game without asking questions. And you got to have this person that's smarter than everybody in the room except for you, which is Riri. You know what I'm saying?
Which that is a template with this kind of storytelling. You know, you see it in Disney's movie of Atlantis. That's the same thing. You got a bomb expert, you got a muscle, you got a medic, you got someone who knows the Lord, is insanely intelligent, and then you got the crazy military guy who goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know, we've seen it before in other types of storytelling, and you even see that in Andor. There's different elements of that where you have different experts in different things,
and it works.
Well, for the Hood too, for his comic book lore, again through research and stuff, this man is known for building teams. Like he has like a crime syndicate essentially. Ooh. Where imagine the crew has now times like 10 with abilities or more abilities,
and they all around the world.
He has a syndicate essentially. A really again a very interesting character. When I started reading up on him last night, I was like, I skipped most of the magic side of Marvel, unless it's Doctor Strange, but there might be some Doctor Strange things in here too, because there's something that I thought of.
I was thinking about that Hood.
Yes, let's talk about the Hood then.
So don't it remind you of Doctor Strange?
Dormammu, maybe?
Yes. At first I was thinking about Doctor Strange cape, and then I was like, okay, let's go deeper. And I was like, man, there's something about, and then the whispers when he's talking to himself or whatever. Yeah.
They're coming from the cloak.
Yeah.
I feel like it.
I'm like, dog.
That would be.
And what I want, and I know they don't have enough episodes to give it to me. I want to know how he came in possession of the Hood. I know you read up on him. I don't want to read
the backstory. Read the backstory. It's pretty like cut and dry. Like, oh, that guy's dead. I'm leaving here with something. Oh, give me your cloak, give me your boots. And that man, he bounced. And it just so happened to be, it's very anticlimactic.
Give me your cloak, give me your boots. Okay.
You know, for me, when I first saw that scene, a character that popped in my mind was Magneto a little bit because of how the bullet, he manipulated the bullet. And you know, with the cloak and everything, it was like, I'm getting Magneto vibes. That's interesting.
Definitely.
But then to your point though, like with Doctor Strange, you know, if there's a connection to that, because the other thing that Marvel has done is they have a unique way of tying in other characters because it is the Marvel universe and how it plays in together. Because like what we were talking about before the show is, you know, and we mentioned here a little bit, is the different phases. So to me, it makes sense that you have some tie-ins to other storytelling that has already been done, especially with other characters. That's what makes sense to me.
Well, and There's gonna be, Jen. I really wish you would have saw episode 3 because we're gonna talk about
Go
it.
ahead and spoil it. Go ahead.
We'll jump to it in a second. We'll jump to it in a second.
Go ahead and spoil it because I'm still. It's gonna make me excited to watch it. I probably won't go to sleep.
Yeah, because if you talk about like just Marvel lore and Iron Man lore, we're weaving this thing together pretty intricately.
Oh, I love it.
And because Tony Stark's fingerprints are still all across the Marvel universe, man. Even in this 2 episodes in, he's been brought up. The scholarship, he's been brought up. I thought you'd be working for Stark by now. I thought you'd be doing this or Stark Industries by now. So there's some things that we're going to keep intertwining through this, which is dope. But what else with episode 2? Oh, the freeze from Natalie too.
Yeah,
that's that bad memory of the drive-by that saw that gun and she froze.
And I'm telling you that I think that's the moment when she really realized that that's her friend and not an AI. When she froze like that.
But remember though,
she was catching herself saying "you" and "I." Well, wait, it's not you. It was me and Natalie.
Me and Natalie. Yep.
Well, because she's still trying to figure out how it happened because it's not what she was trying to do. And then when the moments where Natalie starts having memories, it's really tripping her up because she doesn't even understand you're an AI program. How do you even have memories? Even if I don't fully understand how I made you into my friend's likeness and cadence, how do you have her memories? Because that's such an interesting thing.
And that's the thing. Like, I know Will asked about like the magic or tech. It's got to be all tech, right? Like, we didn't have any magic crossovers up to that point, did we?
The only magic crossovers I can think of
for Riri.
Oh, because I was gonna say Spider-Man and your man's.
Well, and then you have Doctor Strange, and then you have Kamala. You know, those different instances how things can cross over from them.
Yeah, it's just interesting because there's been nothing so far, at least for me, that I haven't seen or been pointed out yet of some magic being connected to her, because she's brilliant. So her mind being able to manage this like no other human just really kind of shows how smart she is. Like you said earlier, Jen, like that shows
like how intelligent she really is, that she doesn't even know it. And then another thing I want to submit to both of you, kind of going off of Kamala, what if she might be a mutant, even though that's not on the comic books? What if they spin that a little bit?
That would be,
I wouldn't, because I was gonna say, that would be really interesting.
Because I don't think that's in the comic books, correct? She's not a mutant in the comic books.
She's just super smart. So, made a suit of armor because she could.
Right. No, she's super intelligent. I mean, Tony Stark takes a liking to her, and then she gets into the programming and everything.
Which, when I read her backstory just to make sure I remembered it correctly, I kind of would have liked to see that dynamic in live action a little bit. But we got that with Peter and him a bit. It was a great way to introduce Spider-Man. But if we're talking about like a legacy to live on after this, because nobody remembers who Peter Parker is at this point. So that's
that's done.
Nobody knows Pete.
Well, except the Hulk. When the Hulk comes up.
We might know Spider-Man, but we don't know Pete. Pete's nowhere. So his connection to all the Avengers, he doesn't have that like that anymore. It would have been sort of dope to see like Riri get that nod to like go do it. But maybe the next 3 episodes we'll get some Stark Industries tie-ins or some other things that come along the way. Anything else for episode 2?
Or a setup for something else that's coming.
Yeah. And I'm anxious to see it because we got 3 more episodes. Okay. So Jen, this is episode 3. We're gonna run through it real quick.
Spoil it. It's all good. There's the glitch.
So man,
like, that shot right there, bro.
That is a beautiful
shot right there.
Like dark Jesus.
He looked. What did I tell you? Business picked up every time my man came on the screen. Business picked up, dog.
So episode 3, We in Danger, Girl is the episode name. the stakes escalate in this episode as Parker's crew undertakes a major heist at a company called Heirloom. During the heist, Riri's curiosity about the Hood's mystical powers leads her to try and obtain a piece of a piece of his hood for analysis.
You want a hem of that garment.
This move.
You too.
Isn't that a hymnal, man?
Oh my gosh. I love it.
And that's in the Bible. Just a hem of his garment.
It is in the Bible.
Honestly,
by the hem of his garment.
Honestly, that's all she was trying to get,
bro. That's it.
Let me finish this, man. Let me finish reading this. Hold on.
The hem of his garment, and he is still clean.
Looking like that. You gotta just.
Who touched me? I felt the power flow out.
Yeah.
Hey. I can see. Anyway. So where was I, man? Okay. So during the heist, Riri's curiosity about the Hood's mystical power leads her to try and obtain a piece of his hood for analysis. This move is observed by John, Parker's cousin, who confronts Riri, believing she is betraying them. A struggle ensues, and in a shocking and morally ambiguous decision, Riri leaves John to suffocate to death in one of the Heirloom's climate-controlled biospheres to prevent him from exposing her. So during this whole time, Jen, Riri had gotten help from McGillicuddy to do this bio skin, because once the place that they go in, they could sense weapons. So the bioskin sort of tried to hide that weapon, but she again got too close to the hem of his garment, and here goes there's the piece of tech, and that's what exposed her. That's what locked everything down.
Wow.
So this act has like severe consequences, highlighting Riri's willingness to make difficult and ethically questionable choices in pursuit of her goals. This episode, I mean, those last 30 seconds. Maybe of her crying and going through like a panic attack.
Let me tell you, bro. I had to shed a tear for you, boy. Let me tell you.
She was like, bro. But let me finish. I'll wrap it up. In a second because we get to a part that I skipped over, just so I can get to the end of this. But the episode culminates with the Hood seemingly communicating with an unseen, powerful entity. A little dark there. Expressing his rage over John's death and hinting that Riri is now in the crosshairs of this mysterious power. So the cloak, the whatever, the mystical demon, the what's his name? Starts with the
man.
M.
That's a beautiful. It's dark. That's a beautiful shot,
perhaps, but he pretty much shows the Ironheart armor, and I think that's where Hood is like, oh, it was Riri. She did this. She's the reason that John's dead. So, so he's in the crosshairs now. One more thing. This is the big one, Jen. This is the big one.
Go for it.
So, it is revealed that our partner, Joe McGillicuddy, is actual Ezekiel Stain, son of Obadiah.
Oh my God!
Yes. The betrayal.
What?
Yes.
The sins of the father. Oh my God.
Yes.
Son of Obadiah. Iron Man's first villain, adding a significant layer to Riri's connection to Tony Stark's legacy. Again,
that was the string you were looking for, Jen. That was a string that you were looking for, the connected off.
I love it. I love stuff like this. Okay.
So we got.
I'm not going to bed tonight. I'm going to be up.
You gonna finish it, Jen?
I'm gonna finish it.
So, but let me do one thing. So, context with Joe McGillicuddy, he and his father didn't have a good relationship. So much that his father's ashes, Obadiah's ashes, are in a Ziploc plastic bag, in a box on the shelf. And that's it. So he's trying to not be like his father. That's why he's changed his name. That's why he has all this military stuff or whatever, just because he's kept it, again, the hint, right? The hint from the episode saying it made me feel closer to my dad. Again, here's the guy. And so this is how we tie in Tony Stark's legacy again within
Wow.
Ironheart. He's not even here anymore, but now we got that connective tissue of Obadiah and Ezekiel. So, Doc, I'm going to throw it to you. And no, wait before. Jen, just by us saying that, you haven't watched it, you haven't seen it yet. Thoughts on this moment right here, finding out that Joe McGillicuddy is Obadiah's son.
This is what I mean. I love it when storytelling connects things from previous stories where it does make sense, because it just, to me, it just gives the story more interest, because then you have the whole backstory of what you just said. He doesn't want to be like his dad, but then he has the same intelligence and skill set, and he can probably do more than his dad. So it's like
he was, and he is. Yeah.
So more intelligent than his dad. So then you have that thing in the back of your head, like, I don't want to go too far, because what if I become like my dad? There's this whole dynamic thing here. So, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. Yay. I do want to say something about our girl Riri real quick. So like that moment where she was crying and she made that choice, I found it very interesting, because where we get introduced to her in episode 1 and how she's doing all of these shortcuts, try to get rich quick schemes, doing all this stuff. It's really showing how she's doing a lot of things on emotional impulse, and she's not stopping to thinking it through, because she's just so overly focused on the suit, where I would argue she's not doing well in honoring the legacy of Tony Stark to a degree, because of the way she's going about it. And then the whole trauma with her stepdad and Natalie is just tripping that up and just fueling that fire. So she actually, because in episode 1, I'm like, girl, you're going to come to a point where it's going to hit the fan and you are just going to break. And that's exactly what happened. She went too far with her ambition.
And again, with them trying to sort of, get a piece of the cloak so they can test it and analyze and see what it's made of. Mm-hmm. Really, with her fight with John before his death, Natalie was in the suit, and she brought the suit to Riri, picked her up, saved her, because they were both trapped,
just like Jarvis.
And then just took them out.
Yeah,
it was a very like Ra's al Ghul Batman Begins moment. Like I won't kill you or something, but I don't have to save you.
Right.
And that was a cold scene, man.
Well, look at the first movie. Look at movie 1 of Aquaman. He did the same thing. It's like, ask the ocean for mercy.
Yep.
Yeah. So with this, but she's this young. She didn't want to get in to hurt people. Doc, I'll throw it to you before we jump into even more. Your thoughts on this, and then everything we find out in episode 3.
Okay, so first off, whomever is manipulating your boy is, genius level. Evil, but genius level, right?
It's always the rumor is always Mephisto. Like that's always been the rumor.
And that's been a joke for years in the Marvel franchise. Mephisto confirmed. Mephisto confirmed. Mephisto confirmed. It's been a thing for over 10 years.
And heavily since Wanda. It really picked up once WandaVision aired, and it was like, oh, it's gotta be.
Well, and then real quick, I'm sorry, because we're on Mephisto, and I just want to get this out of my body. I'm sorry, Doc. So, a theory where Agatha says, because I can't face him. A lot of people's like, oh, she doesn't want to face her son. I'm like, no. Agatha don't want to face Mephisto, because there's the possibility that when Nikki died, he became a servant of Mephisto.
Yeah.
I'm done. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, man, I love how they are weaving everything together. And when that whole Obadiah Stane thing dropped after his ashes fell on the floor, he just kind of You know what I'm saying? Just with a dustbuster.
He dust busted the boys up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And dumped them back in the bag like, that's Obadiah and I'm his boy. So can you please fix me? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And the craziness of how she told him to stand up for himself. We talking about Jim McGillicuddy.
Joe McGillicuddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Miss Karen
told him to stand up for himself, and then he flipped it on her. You know what I'm saying? He was like,
"Oh," was like, "You know what? No."
Yeah, no. Like, and you will be there at 6 o'clock. Yeah, like to help me, right? And I like the whole flip flopping thing. But let me speak on something for the whole entire show, bro. And I don't know if you're paying attention to this or not. The hairstyles are just absolutely gorgeous on Riri, on her character.
The bracelet back,
yeah, dog. Like her hairstyles are beautiful, and whoever is doing them for the show, I mean, the lines are crispy. Dog,
they know
the black excellence that I see on this entire show.
Know what they're doing.
It brings my heart joy. You feel me?
That's what I meant too about like the opening of episode 1 when Riri goes home and you see the culture of the neighborhood. Like I really felt like, wow, they got it.
Well, it's good that we're talking about this because we feel this way, but there's a lot of clowns across the world who feel.
Hey, where the duck sounds at?
Because they feel. You know what? I would have let you say it. Just say it. Please say it. Thank you. Yeah. Because the fact they're talking about, if I got to hear Black Fatigue one more time, I am going to. Oh, and again, it can't be. And it's a Black woman-led show. A lot of people of color, a lot of people of just different lives.
Well, no, because
this is the world we live in. Like, accept it. These people, we exist.
Yeah, and we are excellent. You understand me?
I mean, like, I mean, even with the Star Wars shows, I get so annoyed, like with the Acolyte, and people like, this is not my Star Wars. Yeah. It's like you're mad that it's not just the white man,
right?
Really? Really? Get over it.
Yeah, they really have to
over it. Come on,
get off whatever they're doing with that, because that's a whole another conversation. But let's rejoice in that we got
Yes, man.
This episode was so many tie-ins and things to. It was so good. It ended so well. Doc, that ending, I still can't shake it.
And at the end, when your man is suffocating, and Natalie flies in, opens up, scoops the girl up. She gets some oxygen. She got a good 4 seconds to grab him, bro.
I thought, and you know what? I thought she was.
I thought she was too. She had a good 4 seconds to grab him, and she didn't have to fly him nowhere. She just pull him out and drop him.
And then what would he say? Like, would she be indebted? Well, he wouldn't be indebted to her after that, would he?
He would, because she saved.
He wouldn't.
Like, I don't think he would do it though, because he's going to be
because he was so loyal to his cousin.
Because we don't. From what I've seen in 2, we don't know their story. What happened to the cousins and why they're together, unless I missed something.
They're again, whatever backstory stories.
Well, I can tell you why they are. I was going to say why they are together, because first off, if his cousin is being led by an evil entity, who is the first person you go and get that you've known since y'all were little that he's a killer? Why not go get this crazy dude?
Well, from backstory, they used to run together and used to do crimes together, essentially.
Okay, well,
and so that, but John, he was actually, what was it? Maybe a drug addict or a drunk, got clean, and he doesn't do anything like that anymore. But they still steal like this.
Yeah.
So he traded one vice for another, essentially. But they've been tight since
pick your poison, which is which is the worst of the two evils.
Which I really like their dynamic too. The guy who plays John, he's been in a lot of other things that I've enjoyed.
Good.
He's good.
But
what's that show with it's called Good Girls, where they be stealing the money and making
Christina Hendricks. Yeah, he's in that too.
Boy, he is something else in that show.
And Retta, I love that show too. But seeing that, like, at the end we get to here and we we get those. Man, I should have picked a better picture. We get like the Hood or him pretty much talking to whatever entity that is that's maxed in that cloak, or that he's made a deal with, or that something's happened to the point where he knows now is Riri's fault. Like that shadow or whatever showed him the Iron Man silhouette, the Ironheart silhouette. She's not going by Ironheart yet, which I think is pretty dope, right? Because we're not going. We didn't even call it Wakanda, right?
No, she's still dealing with the fact that her AI is Natalie. So no.
Yeah, because we don't have a name for her yet, so that's gonna be dope when she gets her name. Speaking of the name credits, phenomenal. When she landed in Chicago,
I was about to say the same thing.
And then on the street, sign,
Ironheart Avenue. I thought that was clever.
It reminded me of Invincible, sort of how they would do stuff with Invincibles with the blood and stuff every week, or something else they would do with it.
Yeah,
but no. So now we're gonna lead into these next 3 episodes with him sort of knowing that Riri was the reason for John's death, because Hood asked Riri to go back and look for him, and she was still in the suit. She hovered over, saw that he wasn't moving, which we assume that he's dead, right?
Yeah, he's gone.
She didn't. Again, no heartbeat, no nothing. He's out of here. He's done. And she pretty much just like, he's not moving. I get no heartbeat. I'm sorry. Like, and he couldn't believe it. And then the whole tail end of this show was just like, Riri crying and like trying to calm down and can't. And Natalie can't this time like she did before. Oh, Doc, the one other thing. Only thing Joe McGillicuddy asked was not to be implicated in anything.
Yep, and nothing.
And
she left it, fell off, and I know why she didn't feel it fall off, but still.
And the biotech that she got from her, the bioskin tech that she got from him
to cut off the garment,
she left it behind.
She left it behind
and was picked up. So now Joe is gonna be probably
Obadiah boy, not to be in prison.
Oh crap!
Unless we figure out how we can go get
that
before we figure it out.
Wow.
Thing. She's not only using quote unquote Stark tech, she's using all of the greats tech, PM and all of them.
Yeah.
Like in her suit. Yes. So it's
because she's getting parts wherever she can get it.
Yeah.
She's not she's not like she's making the parts from scratch like what Tony did. She's just like getting what's already made.
He built this in a cave.
Yeah. In a cave. Push that man in the chest.
The fact that a group of scientists could not figure out how Tony built this in a cave was hilarious to me. I had to just say that.
I love that. That just shows how brilliant he is.
But supposedly, listen, man, Tony Stark has an IQ of 260. Just
exactly. It's 200. What's the IQ for Riri? Do we know?
It's like 180 something.
I'm sure is extremely exceptional. Let me look up while keep talking.
Question suggestion for Big Baddie. Do you think it might be a tie-in to the Fantastic Four Big Baddie?
See, that's a tough one, right? Because Fantastic Fours, they're not in this world, I think.
That's why I don't think they're tie-in
with their movie. But at the end of Thunderbolts, we saw the ending. And we'll have Will on here next week. His thought was like the Fantastic Four aren't on that ship. It's actually Doom on that ship, which is a really good theory.
Yeah, that was a good theory when he spit out.
But the fact that they're getting what Galactus in that movie, I don't know if that'll tie to that one, but it has to connect to something. Ironheart does.
The reason why I'm asking is because from what I'm hearing about Fantastic Four, like where have they been all this time with all the Avengers timelines? Is that if they're not even in this world, what if that Big Baddie comes into the world that they're in and then they get out and then they're like, oh crap, we weren't even in the real world, and that's how they get brought in. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm kind of agreeing with those theories right now.
Yeah, I think that's going to open up a whole different can of worms.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole lot.
That's a lot.
Because I think they call them like multi-dimensional or something like that.
Which
where they are compared to everyone else.
Which would make sense to the multi-universe that they have been doing, because if they want to move away from this, bringing in the Fantastic Four, still use that little bit of the lore to bring them in and come up with an explanation of like, this is why we haven't been here.
Because
in the cinematic universe.
Because for years we've been thinking, okay, it's going to be Avengers Tower. It's going to get bought. And we think it's going to end up being Fantastic Four's, facility or tower. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. It's on the tip of my tongue. And it hasn't done that yet. We saw it in Thunderbolts, and it was just being used for what?
At the end.
Yeah.
At the end, it was like refurbished, redone, remodeled, and all that stuff. But before that, it was just an office, or if that, it was because it was all, they was breaking it down or something like that.
The Baxter Building. Good grief. Yeah. Sorry.
Baxter Building.
Yeah. So for years, we've been thinking that building from Avengers is going to be the Baxter Building. But they're not even in this world. They're not in this dimension. We'll figure out when they show up this summer or within a few weeks from now. But Doc, anything else from this episode 3, man? Because this was a lot. And then we ended on even more.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm looking forward to next week. I know a lot of people aren't looking forward to watching 3 more episodes and then it's over with, but I'm looking forward to next week because I want to know not only who's controlling your boy, I want to know if at the end, when he's sitting in the darkness or whatever, and he's talking to your guy, if he's magical, if that's where we're leaning, if he's magical, how do we know he didn't save his cousin, right? And then project that so Riri can see he's dead, just to see where her heart is.
He was like, "Oh, don't bring stuff like that up at the end of this show, man."
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro.
It's a valid point because depending who Big Baddie is, and Big Baddie actually has a vendetta against Tony Stark and anyone who would dare to carry on the legacy of Tony Stark, you gotta get your wingman to have the same enemy instead of aligning with the enemy to take Big Baddie out.
Yeah, man. So I mean,
it's possible.
I'm liking this show, dog. I'm really liking this show,
honestly, because again, we knew they were just trying to get it out. Like, hey, we gotta get it out. We got Doomsday coming next Christmas or Thanksgiving. We got to get it done.
Yeah,
and the drop, and
aren't they filming already?
I think or they're doing something, rehearsing, or they're together. I know I've seen pictures of together.
On it now. Yeah,
but I feel like promotions for this too weren't up to Marvel standards either. No. Promotion of the show. No. So that hurt a little bit.
But that's hard too, because we were talking about this before the show, and this is a whole nother episode in itself. The two Bobs, Bob 1, Bob 2, and all that mess, plus other things that got added into the kettle pot that just contributes to so many things of stop, rewrite, redo, fix in post that you can obviously see that was fixed in post type stuff. Yeah, there's just a lot to it.
Yeah, it's just like the push wasn't there. The push was coming from majority of like the fan base than actual Marvel at times, because I felt like we didn't see much until like recent weeks. I know for a fact who I follow, she's Vigilante Podcast. She made it her task to promote Ironheart every day for like a month. Because Disney and Disney Plus weren't doing anything. Like,
well, I was hearing
that's what made me look into it.
I was hearing like Ironheart commercials on. I was hearing Ironheart commercials on, of course, YouTube, and I was hearing Ironheart commercials on Pandora.
Let's think about this. Considering how they usually push out stuff.
See, for me, and
on the low end.
But see, for me, I didn't see any of that, and I watch YouTube every day. I have not seen anything for Ironheart at all. So when you all sent me the invite to do the show, I was like, oh, Ironheart's coming out? Wait. which is also another reason why I didn't know that it was a 3-episode drop, because they are not pushing it.
They didn't, and they didn't leading up to it either.
No,
but and I do think there's some people like review bombing it too, so they need to get a life. And I don't know if it'll hurt the show, because I enjoyed all 3 episodes, and because I think I enjoy the most of it is that, like, I don't know, Riri's still, like I said, she's new, what, 2015, 16, possibly. She came to the party. I wasn't reading those comic books or didn't know of her. So to be able to see her in this space and see a new story told with a new villain that I didn't really like, hardcore fans may know the Hood and everybody, but like your common comic book fan or MCU fan or whoever, I was like, who is this? They let me look him up. Let me see what we're talking about.
But see, then a question as a consumer is of why they didn't do a lot of marketing for this. Like, do you not have confidence in your own product?
I don't think they did, because they're trying to they're trying to finish this phase up as quickly as they can.
Well, you can still have that goal, but then still do the promoting that the show needs and should get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. But I can say this. Super surprised by it. First episode was like, okay, I'll watch, because I've watched the first 2 last night, and I watched the third one today, and I was like, okay, I'll go to bed after the first one. Let me see what we're messing with. And then when Natalie came up with the AI, I was like, next episode. So I stuck around for
Maybe it's fine. I'll watch the next one.
There's intricacies within it that you're like, okay, your best friend's AI, your deceased best friend's AI, the guy you found off the black market just happens to be Obadiah's son, which connects you more to Tony Stark than you originally ever had.
Come on.
And that's why I'm like, there's so much here. I want more of this character. I know that I'm going to be disappointed when the 6 episodes drop, because that's a lot we're going to have to cover in 3 episodes at about an hour a piece now. Because I think episode 2 or 3 was like 58 minutes or so, something like that. So they're giving it time.
If you take out the credits, it's only just a little bit more than 40 minutes each.
40 minutes or 50. Yeah. So because it's like 6 minutes of credits. But but I honestly think, like, given the right promotion for this, and again, I do think it's people just seeing a person of color on a poster and knowing that's the lead of this show, and looking throughout that entire cast and seeing the diversity in that cast, and a strong female character, a few strong female characters,
because all of them are,
and they get to a point where it's like, no, like, wait, what's wrong with you? So you can't appreciate this. And Jen, I'll throw it back to you in a second. There's this one show, there's one movie I remember back in the day, and Super Cop. Remember Super Cop with Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
And he had Michelle. What's her name? She's Michelle
Pfeiffer.
What is her name? Michelle. She was just in that movie, Anything, Everywhere, Everything. That movie.
Oh, yes. I know who you are.
So she was in Super Cop, right? And I remember watching that movie as a kid, and she was like Jackie's equal in that. She was jumping through car windshields.
She was whooping tail.
And I remember my dad being so super excited to watch her in that movie. Like, he was giving props to her throughout the entire movie. That's where I think I always go back to, where I was like, female leads, strong female leads, I absolutely love, because they're done right. You need them. And to hold yourself on the same stature of Jackie Chan in his movie, and you doing all your stunts too, just like he is. You got you. And I probably went off topic, but I just remember all that. And every time I see people talk about it in this space, like they're tired of it or that they don't accept it, I'm like, what's the matter with you?
Like, that's my question. What's wrong with you? Because ain't nothing wrong with us. What's wrong with you?
No. I mean, to your point about strong female leads, a show that's on Hulu, Only Murders in the Building, I was shook how Selena Gomez can keep up with Martin Short and Steve Martin. I'm impressed.
She holds her own.
I am so impressed with her. And she's playing a really strong female lead in a different context. And she keeps up with them. And I see how she is behind the scenes with them, and she can actually keep up with their humor. I'm just like, man.
And on top of that, there's a mutual respect too.
Yes.
Where I can actually watch a movie and see Brie Larson and be like, okay, Captain Marvel. I know what Captain Marvel is supposed to be. She's been everything that Captain Marvel is supposed to be. What's my problem with Brie Larson? What's the problem with her? I have none. Like, she's a strong female character that you just review bombed her movie, which was a really good movie.
Yep.
Just because you don't like some of the things that she stands for, and that's pretty much empowering women.
Here's the question to the fan base that swears up and down the comic books are fantastic. There's strong female leads in the comic books. Why do you not have an issue with the strong female leads in the comic books? But then when we get them in live action, just because she might be Latina or Indian or, dare I say, Black, you have an issue. But it's still the same comic book character. It's the same comic book character. That's a strong female lead in the comic books where they derived from. The mask.
And you're upset about that.
And you're upset about that. Same thing with Star Wars. There are strong female leads in Star Wars. You know, it came from the movies, but then you expand it to the books. You expand it to the comic books there. There are strong female leads everywhere, and you swear up and down you love it. But then the moment it comes live action and they don't look as white as rice, you have a conundrum and a brain popping out of your vein, popping out of your skull.
Yep.
Doc, you have your hand up.
No, I was just gonna say what Jen was saying. Like, it's ridiculous. Right to the point, it's just ridiculous. Like you were saying, too. In this space, bro, anything can be anything. What y'all tripping about?
And on top of that, we're in 2025. I've said this multiple times.
Yes,
approaching 2026.
And I'm sitting here talking to my friends about Riri Williams having a TV show and we just finished talking about Sam Wilson being in a Captain America movie as Captain America. That's the world we live in now.
Without the super serum. Let's add that in. Without the super serum.
We live in a day where that's possible. I never thought I'd see Sam Wilson in as Captain America.
I never thought I would see a Black Panther movie.
Dude, right? Exactly. Perfect example.
We got that.
And then, then before that, Blade. Did you really think they was gonna get a Blade movie?
So it's almost like just sit back, shut up, and read your comics if you want to. We'll go watch the movies and read the comics. How about that?
And enjoy ourselves.
Here's the thing, everybody. Everyone who's getting upset about all these out. Why is it showing up on my algorithm? Why is it showing me this? It's like, I don't know, because you actually go watch it instead of not watching it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to watch it, don't go watch it. You don't have to go watch it. You don't actually have to watch any of this stuff. You can go and stay in your own little bubble in the corner of your room in the rock you live under.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you have the time to either make videos, write a blog, write a post or anything about how bad something is or how woke something is or how what fatigued you are of Black culture. Just go in the room, close the door, and just stay there. Like, we don't need
don't come back out,
man. Because that level of, like, I guess, hate to try to review bomb a show like this and to bring up everything, and it's frustrating.
Well, because and you know what?
We're having an opportunity where we get these characters now, where we get characters that we never thought we'd get on TV or movies, and all you're doing is complaining.
And they're not just characters; they are interesting, intelligent characters.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, just if we can take color out of it for a moment, these are very intricate, unique, interesting characters with very unique skill sets that are fun to watch. It is fun to see these stories, and the fact that we can even have storytelling of this magnitude. Why can't we appreciate the art for being art on all the levels that it is art?
Well, I'm glad we had that discussion because I've been on. Yeah.
Okay, I got lightsabers behind me. Let's go tomorrow. We ride at dawn. We ride at dawn.
So so that was our review of Ironheart episodes 1 through 3. Super clever story. Weaving it back into Tony Stark's legacy of the MCU and with this character. I've enjoyed it. I can't wait to see the next 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Jen, before we head out, let people know where to find you. And Doc, I'm gonna let you close us out, man.
If you would like to follow me on the thing called the internet, I am on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, at Nerdiqua, at Rocking Your Bald Pod. Follow me there. You'll see me around. I show up here on occasion. Yeah, you'll find me.
Doc.
All right. Well, as y'all know, people, we have come to the end of this wonderful, magnanimous show, which is us. All-Star Fandom Show. Y'all can find us everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. And if y'all chat with us, I promise you we will chat back. And until next week, it's been me, Doc, Dion, and Jen. And we out this thing.
Bye.
Later.